This is Talk is Sheep, a podcast by the Wild Sheep Society of British Columbia. Come along as we take conversations that matter to you into the high alpine.
Mr. Steven.
Mr. Kyle.
So here we are, episode 66, and a very special guest, Mr. Greg McHale. What a fascinating guy, and wow. Wow. Listen, and you'll know why.
Yeah, that was a great chat. Like before we knew it, an hour was done. I was like, holy crap. No, I want to talk more. It was, you see those Tony Robbins infomercials on TV and you just kind of get riveted. You're like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. But when you have Greg as a hunting version of that, he kind of pumps you up.
Well, just so inspirational to hear what he's accomplished in his life and just his mindset. You know, you can just tell that guy is programmed for success. That just when he's talking, you're just like, yeah, that guy is going places, and I want to be alongside that.
Yeah,
you know, the accomplishments, right? Like he talks about his. I'm not going to waste my breath talking about it, but you hear his adventure racing and some of his accomplishments, and it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, running 400 some odd miles at night in minus 40, and that's crazy. I'll say it. That's crazy. Like, and he did it willingly. So
yeah,
I was looking at it online going, holy shit, man.
Yeah. Impressive for sure. So yeah, great opportunity to listen to one of the premier world-class athlete, just the stuff he's accomplished, record breaking too. He's got records that he's broken in the adventure racing world. So definitely someone to aspire to be like, and somebody that you can take some really good advice from. So with that in mind, you and I talked about this, and we talk about it on the show as well, is through Greg's platform, he does offer training. He's got training programs, him and his wife, Denise. They have a Power Hunter fitness training program. And I'm going to pick up their gold package. So, you know, anyone that's looking to get into sheep shape and is looking for some sort of program to get on, I recommend checking it out. Come along the journey with me. I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to pick the package up and start doing some training and see where it takes me. I always like to have some sort of training program, and I've done several different iterations of that over the years, and this just looks like a great fit for me. So I'm going to pick up the gold training package as soon as we get off the phone here today, or the podcast. I'd love to have you guys come along with me, and I know it's going to help for sure. Just curious to see how good it is.
I still think you need to set up an OnlyFans for that. Do before and after pictures and get the sweaty inspirational hashtag that influencer. You know. Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But but what I will do is I will share my journey. This is for me. I love talking about, that sort of stuff and sharing it with people. And if someone else is doing the same thing, and, I'd love to hear your feedback. And anyone that has been on this program, I'd love to get your feedback as well. Obviously a great program, and Denise and Greg have put a lot of effort into it, and a lot of really good quality content there. It's interesting, Greg talks about all three aspects of the program that they talk about. There's the physical aspect, there's the food aspect, what you're putting in your body, and then also just the mental aspect as well, right? So I think that's one of the things that stands out for me in the uniqueness of this, is it caters to all three, as opposed to lots of programs are just, it's just simply, go run or go do this or go do that or lift this weight and off you go, right? So
yeah, exactly. And the guy ran 430 miles. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for the society, we have our Wild Sheep Salute to Conservation event coming up this weekend. It's March 12th. And we are going to be live from Kamloops, but it's going to be a virtual event. If you haven't signed up for it, get signed up. And the reason I say that is it's free. So you can register for nothing, gets a ton of great content. And then there's two other registration levels. There's a $20 registration level and a $50 registration. There's tons of prizes. We're giving a bunch of giveaways. We're going to draw our sheep hunt. On that, we have tickets left for our wild sheep raffles, as I mentioned before. Over 150,000 in prizes there. We got a live and timed auction. Well, you've seen it. Have you been bidding on stuff, Steve, or what?
Mind your own business. I don't want people to bid me up.
If anyone wants to fuck with Steve, go bid on the.
I'm editing this right out. You know
that. We got tons of great stuff. And there's a grizzly bear hunt on there. There's a Jurassic Classic team for our Jurassic Classic fundraiser. Come fish with me. That would be a fun weekend. Every summer, August, we're in Chilliwack doing some sturgeon fishing to raise money for wild sheep at the Jurassic Classic. But there's a ton of great stuff on our live and timed auction. So, check it out. Go and get registered. Like I said, we're giving away a Stone Glacier backpack, a Sitka jacket, and a Yeti cooler. Just a great event. It's going to be a fun weekend. We're going to do biologist updates. We've got a stone sheep hunt film. We've teamed up with a hunting film tour. Just a ton of great content. Go over to wildsheepsociety.com, get registered now. So with that, we are going to go to episode 66. Greg McHale is executive producer and host at Greg McHale's Wild Yukon. He's no stranger to the camera. Greg does a ton of great content, and it's kind of under that adventure racing framework, but he's out hunting, and it involves airplanes. It involves sheep. It involves wildlife. It involves wild Yukon. It's just a great show. And Greg's just a great listen to. He's just so knowledgeable when it comes to, health, fitness, the backcountry. So I think you guys are going to really enjoy this show. And like I said, go over to his website, pick up a program, and come on a journey with me. Let's get in shape for sheep season.
If you looked up the words conservation superhero in the dictionary, you would see a picture of our friend Omer from Precision Optics. A tireless donor and supporter of all things wild sheep, Precision Optics, located in Quesnel, British Columbia, truly stands alone in the high alpine. From optics to rifles to outdoor gear and a knowledge that cannot be surpassed, toss in that killer smile and you have a total conservation package. Precision Optics, we are truly thankful for the support you show us every step of the way. Find them online at precisionoptics.net or in Aroma Foods, located just off Highway 97 in Quesnel, BC.
All right. Good morning, Greg. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thanks, Kyle, Steve. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, it's great. We connected down in Reno. It was great to see you down there, and great to be back in person, seeing some of these good old friends at the shows that we haven't seen for a couple of years now. So it was great.
Yeah. Just getting out into, down into the States and realizing that us up here in Canada, how far behind we actually are. That's my perception of it anyways. And it's so good to get back face to face and see people and, really make those, just talk hunting with a bunch of dudes again. It's been, I've been up in the Yukon for a long time and haven't been able to get out too much. So it's refreshing for sure.
It sure felt good.
I imagine you guys are getting this cold front that we got down here in BC. Like it's like minus 20 something here I'm in Prince George, so I imagine you guys are quite a bit colder.
Yeah, we just got that came through and it's actually warmed up again. So that was, I don't know how long it lasted for you guys, but it was literally only a few days. We've had a pile of snow in the Yukon again. This is another record year. Last year was the same. So we're just dealing with snow more than anything, which is not common for us. So normally we deal with cold temperatures and not so much snow, but now we're dealing with a lot of snow and the cold temperatures have been on and off, but nothing major.
Yeah, it's been weird. Last week we had as high as 12 degrees Celsius. Like a lot of our snow melted, and then 2 nights ago woke up, it was like, what the hell? How is it minus 15? This isn't right. Yeah. But it's supposed to raise up to 5 or 6 degrees by the weekend again. Just it's a weird year. Year.
I don't know what you want to call it, but it's definitely not normal.
Yeah. So Greg, you were down at Sheep Show. Obviously we seen you there. Did you guys head over to SCI after that, or what did you end up doing? Were you just down for Sheep Show?
Yep. No, I did Sheep Show, and that's kind of usually my, I usually do SCI, Sheep Show, and SHOT. I try to get everything wrapped up in those three. I got young kids and I don't enjoy being down there for too long. So it's I usually try to get it all done and get my fill of people, and and then I'm kind of, as much as I was just whining about, it being nice to get down there, coming home is always great. And my kids are just at an age where they're super active and they need dad around a lot, and it's where I want to be. So, whether it's hockey or soccer or gymnastics, whatever, it's that time in my kid's life and in my life that I need to be here as much as I possibly can. So I try to minimize those trips.
Yeah, I hear you. So Greg, what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, is let's kind of journey back to a young Greg McHale, where you got started, and kind of your passion for the outdoors. And
how far back? Holy, that's a long way we're talking here, Kyle.
Let's take it right back to the start. Just kind of where your passion for I guess hunting and the outdoors, but also you people know you for your your accomplishments with your fitness and athleticism, and I guess maybe touch about that, like, because honestly that must have came from a very, very primal, very young age, right? So
yeah, so like fitness, I would say is the foundation of all of it. I didn't start hunting till I was about 14, I guess. My dad was a big fisherman. Hunting wasn't number one in the house, fishing was. But as far as outdoor pursuits go, but number one over everything was hockey and just, athletics and sports. And, I played, all kinds of different sports, but basically it was really hockey in the winter and baseball in the summer. So yeah, those were the two main drivers athletically, which don't really translate to what I ended up pursuing athletically at a professional level. But every I shouldn't say every, but a lot of kids in our country, it's the only real winter sport we had was hockey, and if you didn't play that, I don't know what you did, because that consumed every weekend and after school for me, my whole childhood. So I don't think if you didn't play hockey, I don't know what you were doing. Maybe video games, I don't know. But yeah, so that was kind of it. That's my parents were both hugely into my sister and my sports, and just kind of pushing us and giving us every opportunity that they could. We come from, just pretty middle class Ontario, is where I grew up, and which is far removed from the Yukon now. But after hockey, it was I used to get a lot of days off school. This was a great thing. I used to get a pile of fishing holidays. Now I'm not much of a fisherman. It's not something that I, go out and do. If I'm going to do anything, it's going to be hunting. So fishing definitely is not a priority for me, but I used to enjoy the hell out of it when I used to get Fridays off school, and my dad would load me up into the van, and we would go and spend the weekend just fishing off of shore somewhere in Owen Sound, or once he could afford a boat, I guess we got to use a boat. But I remember so many days just sitting on shore, just throwing a line in the water. And that was kind of where it all started. And like I said, I didn't start hunting until I was probably 14, when I could legally get a hunting license. And then really in Ontario, all the hunting that I did was bird hunting, whether it was field hunting for geese or ducks, and then some whitetail hunting. And I started out bow hunting pretty straight away, I think just because there was just a longer season. So that's kind of how the hunting started. And all of our holidays, like we didn't come from a family that had any money. All of our holidays were just pack up the car, or later years the van, and move, drive 8 hours north into the bush in northern Ontario, and set up a wall tent, and that's where you spent the week, fishing for speckled trout and just camping. That was our idea of what a holiday was. And I didn't know, I didn't know what a beach looked like, really. I didn't know what a, I would consider a holiday now. That was not even part of the program. And we didn't miss a beat. We didn't ask for anything more, didn't need anything more. And so it was a great childhood growing up in Ontario. Now I wouldn't want to go back there to live. That's for sure. I tease all my buddies that I have a lot of great friends back home, and they've all been out here too, so they realize why I live in the Yukon, because of obviously what I do. But I doubt that they'd all want to make the trade either. So it's one of those things. I found the right place for me in the Yukon and my family, and it's we're super happy to be here, and we're blessed in so many ways to live in this wild place that we do. And but yeah, it all started in Ontario.
So with the kids, do you guys find yourselves doing sort of the similar lifestyle that you did when you were young? You guys spend a lot of time out in the bush, or not as much?
Well, yes, but it's changed a little bit. And I think, not necessarily for the better or for the worse. It's just different. Like now, we have our own airplanes, and our idea of getting away in the bush, and we make sure that we do it for at least a week every year. We have we built a cabin in a fly-in only lake, and it's a little piece of I believe it's just a piece of paradise. It's nobody ever comes around. We're the only ones on the lake, and it's fabulous. So we make sure that we get the kids out there for at least a week at a time to, just to get them away from as much as, a lot of people would say the Yukon is not civilization. We got to get them away from the city, and they just love it, where there's no TVs, there's nothing is allowed to, well, we don't have video games in our house anyways, but there's no electronics. It's just you and your shoes and your swimming suit, and that's it for a week. And that's our time that we just cherish every year. But we fly in. It's not like we're taking the cabin is as rustic as it gets. There's no amenities, there's nothing special about it. It's some plywood and a piece of wilderness, and that's the way we like it.
That's awesome. So you fly in on floats, or you got a little strip there?
Yeah, it's floats. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool. And then, hanging out at the lake, is it fishing? You guys do a little bit of hunting, or just getting off grid? It's
just off grid, really. It's not it's a glacier fed lake, so there isn't much for fish in it. But we got the canoes in there, the kayaks, and we just go get up in the morning, and we take it as it comes. Whatever we feel like doing, we do. We don't have a real major schedule. We certainly go for hikes every day and try to go for swim, or the kids go for a swim because it's way too bloody cold for me. And we just enjoy the time together. It's because the world is so fast now, and the kids have so much going on that your days can just fly by, and you're just going from activity to activity. And this is a time for us to decompress and just kind of get out and spend time together with no real agenda. And that's why we really love it. And that's why I think that everybody loves the outdoors. Like, it just, you get away from, it gives you an opportunity to get away from everything, all of the bullshit, because especially we're inundated with it right now in our worlds. Right. And that's why I do what I do, is because when I'm out hunting, I have the opportunity to put it all away and focus on the task at hand, and, get the job done and enjoy it. And that's why, we make sure that we factor those kind of things into our child's lives, so that hopefully when they grow up, they take that along with them, and they pass it along, to their families, and keep this, keep the wild places wild, and the enjoyment of the outdoors.
That's awesome. So I want to jump back to some of your formative years, but now that we're on this topic, so, for you professionally, you have your show, and you're, there is an element. It's a bit different, I guess, in the sense that when I go out hunting and you go out hunting, it probably looks a little different, especially if you're recording your show and stuff like that. So how does that factor in? Obviously you're passionate. You've been able to turn that into, a lifestyle that your job, a lifestyle into a job that you love. But does that take away from your experience when you're out there, like, trying to get the show done and that sort of stuff too? How does that affect what you do?
Yeah, no, it definitely has over the years, but it's a mindset thing. Like, when we first started the production, the television side, and learning to change the way that I hunt, to incorporate the cameras was the biggest thing. But I never went into hunting. Fortunately, I was never a buck fever kind of guy. I never had to kill something. That was never how I looked at hunting. I was, otherwise I don't think that I would have really enjoyed it as much. It's not about, like, 2 years ago. I'm getting off a little bit, but 2 years ago I never took a sheep, and it's just I spent more days in the mountains hunting sheep, and I just decided that it was going to have to be something special for me to take it. So that's always kind of the way I've looked at hunting. But as soon as you add 2 more guys and cameras, and you have to get the shot on camera. It certainly adds an element of challenge to it that I really enjoyed, because I came from that, that most of my hunting was bow hunting. And now I know very little of the hunting that I do is actually bow hunting. So that challenge is of the bow hunting challenge that was there. I think that I've got some of that back with adding cameras to the mix, because if the camera doesn't get the shot, then it didn't happen. So there's a lot more patience involved, and it has to, things have to be at the right time. You can't take those shots late, in the evening or early in the morning, because the cameras can't capture it. So yeah, it adds an element of challenge that I really enjoy. Now, as far as the style of hunting that we do, adventure racing is the sport that I used to do. And I certainly try to incorporate as much of that athletic lifestyle into the way that I hunt. And I think that it's really just given me an extra bit of, like, pleasure on how I partake in the hunts that I do. And that just is my style. And I won't deviate from it for the purpose of creating more content. Like, we don't produce that many shows a year, really. Like, a lot of, like, if I was doing say a whitetail show, then you can produce 13 episodes in a season or more, because you're sitting in a tree stand. But we don't roll that way, and we produce what we can, and sometimes we make double episodes, because some of these hunts are 10, 14 days, and you can't justifiably crunch 14 days of hunting into 22 minutes and present it to the audience in the way that it needs to be presented. Like, the guys that I have on the team, both Dave and Carl, are super great guys. They're fit guys and, talented. Dave is a really talented videographer and editor. And the 3 of us have, Dave and I especially, have grown from day one together. And Carl, right at the start, came in right early. So the 3 of us have been doing this, and we hope that people are enjoying it, but we're not about to change our tactics for for anybody, because what we're doing it is to try to portray, wild hunting in an athletic way as much as we can. Obviously, when I hunt with my dad, or I use machinery late season, for moose hunting, like, this place up here is vast, and it's, in order to get back into some of the country that we do, we have to be able to utilize all different means of transportation. And I love flying, so aviation is a huge part of the program as well. So hopefully, that's kind of what the style that we do it in, as much athleticism as we can, and hopefully it translates to decent content for people to watch.
Awesome. So let's just harken back to, so you talked about growing up in Ontario, your first hunts when you're 14, and then off to University of Windsor. Were you playing hockey when you were in university? You played hockey for them?
Yes, I did. I played 1 year of hockey for them. And then it was like hockey was, my personality is such that really once I realized that this whole hockey as a career wasn't really going to materialize, I started to lose interest, but at the same time I was still good at it. So it's, my personality is one that if you're good at something, kind of stick with it. And so after college, because I played for the Barrie Colts, and then that was while I was at college. And then after college, I was like, well, what do I do with myself? I was one of those lost kids who didn't know where a career in hockey's not going anywhere as far as any real money. Sure, you can go play in the Sunshine League and, down south somewhere and sit on a bus, for 6 months of the year, but and make $35,000. But that really wasn't the kind of lifestyle I was looking for. So I knew I needed to have a real career. So, and I didn't want to start a real career, so I needed to continue on with school. So I went to university after college, and is the best thing I ever did, because that's where I met, I shouldn't say I met my wife there, but we reconnected there. My wife and I went to grade 1 together, from grade 1 to grade 8, and then we went to separate high schools. And then I went off to college, she went off to university, and the truth is that I picked the university to play hockey, and based on that I knew that that's where she was. So, I played hockey at the University of Windsor after, and that's where Denise and I got together again. And then after university, we loaded up her, I think it was a Plymouth Sundance, and we loaded it with every outdoor piece of equipment that we had, and we told our families that we were moving to Alberta. We were going to go to Banff and look for work there. All the while, we did know that we were moving to the Yukon, because if we had have told them that we were going to go to the Yukon, they would have, I don't know what they would have done, but the first question would have been like, what are you thinking, Greg? And then her parents would have been, you are not dragging my daughter to the Yukon. so yeah, that's kind of how it rolled. The university to out to the Yukon, out west, as far as you can go.
Awesome. And is that when you got into your adventure racing and that sort of stuff, or how did that, like, obviously you had the hockey stuff in university, and then, off to the Yukon. So how did this adventure racing, and obviously part of your DNA, but how did that evolve?
Yeah. So adventure racing was, took a bit of time. My wife is a tremendous runner. So she was running, and I ran to train for mountaineering and climbing. I used to, once we got out west, hunting was something that happened straight away, but the just adventure and the pursuit of, just adventure led me to climbing. So I spent a period of years where climbing was number one on my list. And I kind of, I did some big wall stuff, and I climbed McKinley and Logan and Denali, mountains like that. So that was really where I was pursuing the adventure in my life. And then there's this adventure race came to the Yukon, and the city of Whitehorse asked me if I could put together a team to race in it. So that's where the adventure racing started. We had watched, my wife and I had watched, the Eco Challenge on television, and, really thought that would be a good idea. And then when the race came to town, it just kind of fell into our lap, and it was the hardest thing. That sport is the hardest thing I've ever done, or certainly adventure sport, but it was the most rewarding thing as well. It's the sport of adventure racing takes you to a place that I don't think that any other sport does. It's a team sport, and it tears you down, and really makes you look at who you are as a person. And sometimes you can find that that person that you're looking at on any given day of a race is not the person that you're proud to be at that moment, but it's picking up and moving forward. And that's where the tenacity, I think, to never give up and never quit really came from. And that I take that into the hunting world. And we've been very fortunate to have raced at a professional level for the best teams in the world all over, whether it's, we've raced for, my wife races as well. So, or she did. And, we raced for the best teams in Europe and the US and Canada. So it was a great career, and it's an amazing sport.
So Greg, you've done a lot of things. You've done the climbing, you've done obviously hockey and a whole bunch of other stuff athletically. What would you say is your biggest achievement? Was it the 400-mile race from Whitehorse to Dawson? Was it what stands out for you?
Yeah, I would have to say the largest achievement. It's funny because the largest personal achievement is also a race that paid $0, but it was just the Yukon Arctic Ultra is what it was called. And I'd done a couple races in NWT called the Rock and Ice Ultra that leading up to that, which really painted the picture for, attempting to try to break the record of a 430-mile foot race, which was the Arctic Ultra, or the Yukon Arctic Ultra that I did here. And that race, I call it it was the highest achievement for me because I'd never felt that I could be so low and come back from it. Just beat down to a place where I didn't, I couldn't imagine that I could be in so much pain and so beat down and have to dig out and come back. Now that race was a special situation because after about 30 miles on the course of 430, I never really saw another person on the course until the end of the race. There was a few checkpoints along the way where I did see people, but otherwise it was just me and minus 40-degree temperatures pulling all of my stuff for 430 miles in the dead of the winter in the darkness. And there's a lot of time. There's a lot of alone time, and you got nobody to look to for help, nobody to talk to. It's just you and your own brain and your own pain. And it's a unique place to be. Mm-hmm. And of all the racing all over the world I'd ever done, it had never been like that, where it was this solo event that I never saw anybody. And it was the conditions were so extreme. So that's where, that's why I call that it's the most rewarding and most difficult thing that I've ever done in my life.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at it now online, and like, what the hell? It's like you said, dead of winter. Like that's insane. And one of the little blurbs here, it says the trail race is marked, but fresh snow, a lot of wind can obliterate the route, leaving it difficult to find the way. Threat of frostbite hangs over you. Hours of darkness are brutally long, clouding your judgment. Struggle to eat enough. Sleep is limited. You're alone. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it doesn't, when you read it like that, it doesn't sound so appealing, does it? No, I went into that thing knowing that there was going to be zero fun, obviously. But I was at the best shape of my life. I was the mentally as strong as I've ever been in my life. And I had it dialed in. And I knew that I could break the record. If all things, depending on the conditions and because that race from year to year can be completely different. Like I know the temperatures were below minus 45 as I moved north toward Dawson, because I know those temperatures because I trained at them or close to them. So there's so much. I could talk about this race for hours because it's just one of those things that until you can't understand it until you go and do it. And that's what, like so many things in life, right? And that's why we love to hear stories of, whether it's Mount Everest or, these wild adventures, because it's really difficult to put into context until you've actually gone and done them. But this thing is a different beast. All the mountaineering in the world, that like the mountaineering that I did, and I, obviously I didn't do 8,000 meter peaks, but mountaineering is a joke compared to that race certainly in the conditions that I had it that year. It was a beast. And the problem with me, or the thing about me, is in wanting to not just complete the event, because you could go and do this event, and if you carry a ton of gear and you look at it as a camping trip, that's one thing. You could sleep 8 hours a day until they shut the course down behind you, or as long as you're moving, they'll keep it open. Where my intent was to race this thing and to break the current record. So there was no time to take the foot off the throttle, and I didn't have the luxury of having a whole bunch of extra gear. So I knew I had to cut my sleep down as much as I possibly could in order to win this race. Now, the year that I did it, I know that if the top 5 expedition, polar expedition athletes were there, guaranteed somebody would have died. I guarantee that, because we would have been pushing each other so hard to, like, as it was, I didn't know where my competition was because I was out there on my own the whole time, and the communications were crap. Like the organization of the race was crap. There was a checkpoint that was supposed to be there. The last checkpoint before the finish of the race was supposed to be there. And that's where it was like minus 45, and that checkpoint wasn't there. So and I had dialed my race I know that I could do like 100 kilometers at a time without resupplying without having to start a fire for water and all of these things. I had it completely dialed in, and then that checkpoint wasn't there. And then the wheels didn't fall off the wagon, but it was riding the fine line of absolutely losing fingers and toes. Like that would have been a given. Like every year somebody gets frostbite, almost every year somebody gets frostbite and loses digits. But I'm saying if the top guys in the world were there racing, somebody would have froze to death.
Just pushing each other so hard.
Yeah.
Kyle,
pushing each other,
let's do it.
And lack of and just lack of organization would have led to somebody's death.
So Greg, did you break the record?
I did. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it as fast as I thought that I should have done it. And a few factors played in there. It snowed. It started to snow about just halfway through the race, and I broke like 100 kilometers of trail in my snowshoes.
Wow.
Would you do it again?
No, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, safe bet.
I'm not fit enough like, I'm not like I was. And I guess that's a personality thing about me, that I know that if I don't have a shot at, winning something, then I'm probably not going to do it. Now, I'm more up for something like, you know, a race to the fastest time to the South Pole or something like that, which I could still do at my age, because it's just head down and, really figuring out your gear. And so those are the kind of things that would be of more interest to me now. But that particular race, yeah, I've done it. I don't think I need to. I don't think I need to repeat that one.
You ticked that box and broke the record. What was how long did it take you, out of curiosity?
I think it just took me just over 8 days, like 201 hours, something like that. I thought I should have done it a day faster. I figured on 100 kilometers a day, and the weather conditions, or that snow, really hurt me. And there was one time early in the race that I stopped drinking because my navigation, I figured that I was almost at the checkpoint, and I going into Carmax, and I hit the Yukon River, and I thought that it was just going to be around the bend, and it was hours later, and I stopped drinking because I thought it was just going to be around the bend, and it was like 6 hours later, and I rolled into Carmax like in a really bad state, just completely dehydrated, just mentally smashed. And I got it. And I took the longest rest that I did of the whole race at that point, and, kind of got it back together. But it took me a long time to get it back together, which cost me, I guess, my time that I had. But it's one of those races, you think that you can do it in a certain amount of time, but the conditions have to be perfect. And they were definitely not perfect in the year that I did it.
What was your rest there in Carmax?
I think it was almost 8 hours. Yeah, it was like I had figured that I would never take a rest longer than 8 hours. And most sleep that I was going to get at a time was going to be about 3 hours.
Okay.
So over the 7 days, 3 hours at a time. So that it did not play out that way. And I needed every minute of it to get mentally back, to get rehydrated, and then mentally back in the game. And then I was good after that, but that was a complete mistake on my part by not watching my map, not realizing exactly where I was, because there was no GPSs. So I didn't know how far. I couldn't use a GPS, but it was just absolute mistake on my part. And I almost paid. Well, I did pay for it for sure. But anyways, it all worked out.
So back then you guys had no GPS, but currently they use, like, for a race like that, they would have a GPS and that sort of thing.
Well, I don't know that. Yeah. Like, I mean, back, like, we had the spot, or in reach, I guess, type thing. So they could track you, and there was live tracking throughout the race, but I never carried a GPS. Because really, and I guess retrospectively, it wouldn't have been a problem to have it, but taking your fingers out of your gloves and playing with your GPS, and it's a head down and just put the miles behind you, right? Mm-hmm. And just never run out of water, always drink, always keep eating. That was my mistake, is that I didn't stick to my game plan. Like, eat every 35 minutes, drink every 15, and I didn't stick to it because I just, probably sleep deprived. I knew I was sleep deprived at that point, and for whatever reason, I thought that I should have. It was just around the corner, and I told myself, "Oh, it's just going to be just around the corner. I'm going to go around here. I'm going to see the bridge, and the town's going to be there, and then I'm going to get a hot meal." Well, that's not the case. 6 hours later. So, and then the longer you go without eating and drinking, then, you just get into this further state, downhill, and it just snowballs into a bad situation. So, but yeah, it was great. And the checkpoint before that, I got there and I was going to sleep at it. And the guy the guy that was manning the checkpoint, he just got there before me. So it was freezing cold. You know, the organization of the event wasn't prepared for the speed at which I was trying to run this race. Like I ran the first 100 miles in 20 hours. So I broke the 100-mile record, and I was doing the 430 mile. So they didn't quite, I guess they didn't quite anticipate it, or they were just not organized well enough. But either way, that race is one that if the race organizers are not dialed in, then people can die, and I'm surprised nobody has actually died, but there's been lots of people go back to Europe without fingers and toes. Let's put it that way.
I just want one more quick question on this, and then we're going to transition. But what did you have a sled, or did you just a pack, or how did you carry your gear?
Yeah, sled. So I pulled everything behind me. It's just the fastest way. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. And what would that sled? I know it's not direct translation because you're sliding on snow, but what is that? How much worth of gear did you have with you?
Ooh, I did not have a lot of gear. Like
right.
I had as little as the minimal amount of gear that I could possibly get away with the race organizers. So probably not much more. Like when I pulled up to the start line, like I'm walking past most of the other guys that are doing the full length, and I'm looking at their sleds, and I literally thought to myself, holy shit, Greg, are you making a mistake here? Because I'm watching these other guys in their sleds, and I know that they're not going to be racing me because I'm driving a Lamborghini, and they've got a pickup truck. So yeah, the weight wise, I probably didn't have more than 30 pounds in my sled.
Okay. What'd you do with water? Like was it in a thermos? Like how did you keep it from freezing when it was -40?
No, you've got it. And here's some trade secrets. So,
okay.
So I have it in a Camelback that is right next to my body. So I would have 3 liters of water in my Camelback next to my body, and then my coats and everything over top of that. Right. So it will never freeze. But the thing is with your hose, you have an insulated hose, but that doesn't mean anything. You have to, every time you drink, you must blow all of the liquid back into the bag, back into your Camelback, so that there's nothing in the hose. Otherwise that hose will freeze, and then you stick that hose underneath your armpit. Okay. So that hose is next to your body, underneath your arm, to keep it from freezing, because once that hose freezes, then you're in trouble.
It's all over. Yeah, you got to stop and
yeah. And then crazy. And then your time, right? So it's all about speed and efficiency.
Wow, crazy. Cool. Well, I got a million questions I could ask you there, but
kidding.
I think we'll segue off that because we might have to come back and just talk about that. So let's, for the sheep hunters amongst us, there's a lot of our listeners are sheep hunters. Let's get a little bit into the fitness stuff. And Greg, let's talk about your program and about the Power Hunter program and what's involved with that. And I guess just, let's take me, for example. I, a very low fitness right now. I get in sheep shape every year. I manage to get out in the mountain. I'm never in as good a shape as I should be. But so someone like me, maybe one of our listeners, kind of an average listener, let's talk a little bit about fitness and how we should approach things and where we should be at this time of year thinking about sheep season.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Anyone who wants to hunt sheep, I think we're all in the same. Everybody's the same. Is we always look at it like, yeah, I want to get in sheep shape this year, and then life gets in the way, right? And we sometimes you get away with it, and you go, oh, maybe I don't have to train that much because I'm just I pulled it off this year, or maybe you didn't pull it off. But at the end of it, all I know is that the fitter I am, the way easier sheep hunting is, or additionally, the way the harder I make the hunt, because having the ability to go day after day after day, and is the key thing in mountain hunting generally. And the fitter you are, the more miles or the more training you put in, the better quality of hunt that you're going to get. And the odds of you being successful are going to go up dramatically. I don't think that I don't believe that there's any better measurement of success than an individual's fitness. You can shoot a mile. I don't care. You still need to get within a mile. And sometimes just, getting there is, that's the hardest thing. And obviously putting yourself in great locations to be able to find sheep, number one, and then going and getting them. So, Denise, my wife she's a background in, human kinetics. She's a nutritionist. Like she's got more letters and stuff than I can even imagine, but it's all around fitness. And then on top of that, she's an amazing athlete. So, all of the success that a lot of the success that we've put together is based on her knowledge of human performance and getting the best out of us that she can get. And she's done a great job of keeping our family fit and healthy, and certainly has been the driving force behind the human performance of our athletic career. So we've put together a program, and more, I would say that she's put the foundation of the program together, is to really maximize what we believe is the best program to get somebody ready to move toward a mountain hunt. And we've had amazing success with the people that have completed the Power Hunter fitness program. It's been so rewarding for us to see, guys drop, a pile of weight and then go on to actually take a sheep. So it's been fantastic, and the program is really working for people. And the fundamentals, the foundation of it is what I use every day. So I know that it works, and it's definitely proving itself out for other people as well.
So you're telling me if I use that for 3 months, I'll be able to do what Greg McHale does?
What?
You almost spit your coffee out there.
It's a good thing I didn't have a drink.
Absolutely. We're gonna have to teach you how to fly an airplane, and
he's got that one down.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. You're halfway there.
Yeah, he's got that one down.
That's
nice.
Funny, man. Okay, cool. So let's talk maybe a little bit about the ethos of the program, and because I'm actually quite interested in, in the research for our podcast, I was looking at your program, and it's that time of year where I start getting a bit more serious about my sheep season. So, I'm looking at this, and I think that this might be a great fit for me. So, so an average guy like me, is this something that I could adapt in my life that would work, or is it designed for a high performance athlete or somebody that's sedentary? Where do we sit?
Yeah, it's absolutely not designed for a high performance athlete. It's more specific. See, the beautiful thing about the program is if you are a high performance athlete, you can actually use it. You just work. The whole point is that you work to the level that you possibly can, and you're going to get out of it what you put into it, right? And that goes with any work, any program. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. And you and I can do the same workouts together. And this is what the foundation of it is that we've recorded myself and Denise putting me through the workouts, and we can do these workouts together. And maybe you do 30 reps of one and I do 26. It's all about the effort that you're willing to put forward. And that's where it really works. And some guys might only be able to do, 7 reps, and it's all about your ability at that time, and working up over the 28 days. And then you add, it's not the thing that I think is lost is that this program, it's not just a workout program. Like, because the physical fitness part of it is one aspect. If you really want to be successful and you want to give the best shot that you got at being, at killing a sheep, is you need to look at the big picture. And the big picture is nutrition, it's the physical fitness, and it's also a mindset. It's doing the work in adverse conditions, which build a mental domination attitude, as I call it, and going out and doing some of the training sessions, scheduling them, and no matter what's going on outside, like you've got a ruck to do or you've got a run to do, you go out and do it. You schedule it. You say, it's okay, I'm doing it. I got 1:00 on Tuesday. That's what time. And it's pouring down rain and sleet. Well, tough shit, man. You get out the door, because the sheep doesn't care. The sheep doesn't care that it's snowing or it's raining on you and you're sitting in your tent whining about the snow that's coming down. It's like, great, sit in your tent, dude, and then pack it up and then go home. Because that's what's going to happen. Every time we're on these hunts, there's always going to be something that is going to, put a chink in the armor that makes somebody crack on the team, or you or me. And that's going to make us want to, you know what? Well, the weather's crap and I'm not going to see anything. Who knows? We might as well go home. So those are the kind of things that this program is designed to do. It's not just designed to get you off the couch and put 30 minutes of exercise in. It's designed to give you the mental, some mental tips on how to stay out there when times are tough. Now, if you're physically, you've got the physical ability because you put in the work to build the body. Now you've done it in adverse conditions. Now you're building the mind. And also you're putting proper food and nutrition into your system to be able to make sure that you're getting the best out of the machine. Because that's all this is. It's just a machine. And when we start to treat it like a machine, you put good things into the machine, you get good things out of it. And that's so lost in North America, especially in the food that we eat, the shitty food that we put into our bodies all the time. And we just look at it like it's normal, because it's been normalized. We're the fattest countries in the planet. And if we don't, revert that, and especially if you're wanting to take a sheep, because sheep hunting isn't easy. And especially, in some of the locations that you guys have down south, there's competition. And if you're not taking into consideration those three factors, which this program, which is built for, then, and you leave one of them behind, well, there's a good opportunity that the next guy out there on the next mountain, he did take all three of them into consideration and he beat you to the sheep. And that's what I look at it is, if I'm not giving myself the best opportunity of success, what's the point? Because I'm not out there for a camping trip. If I want to go camping, I'm going to go camping with my kids. Like, I'm out there for a reason. And the reason is to enjoy the nature, obviously, to see these beautiful places. But at the end of the day, it's to come home successful. Now, and even sometimes, yes, well, just being out there is a success. I get it. But at the end of the day, we're out there for a purpose. And I go out there with the intent to maximize my ability to take a sheep or whatever mountain game that it is. And if I don't see one, or don't see the one that I'm looking for, yes, it is a success. But I've done everything I need to do to put all of the opportunities in my hand to come away with the goal.
Well, and you bring the point up is you get out there and you see your 12-year-old ram that you've dreamt about your entire life, and you don't kill it because you weren't ready for it. And then it isn't a success. It's a failure, and you're going to feel like it's a failure for sure.
Absolutely. We had have a guy in the program that he joined the program for exactly that reason. Last year, he was up in this drainage, and the idea was, well, they're going to hunt this drainage, and because there's bighorns in it, and supposedly, but they didn't physically prepare themselves to go beyond that drainage, and just climbing to the top of the mountain to look at the next one when the one that they were in was empty. That's it. You're limited. Your physical ability has limited you to one drainage, and that's it. If you can't climb up that mountain, take your tent to be able to look into the next one where that ram of a lifetime could be, then what's the point? And he came and very honest. He said, like, Greg, I need never to make this mistake again. Like, my physical ability held me back from being mentally strong enough to climb the mountain and go and look in the next basin where, the Rams probably were. And so great for him. And he got into the program. He's doing fantastic. And now not only does he have the physical ability, but he's gained as much the mental strength to go, I know that I'm going to the next basin this year. Like, I know I am. Mm-hmm. So yeah, great if the Rams are in the one that I was in, but if they're not, I know that I'm going to the next one, and then the next one and the next one. And that's you build on it, and that's how it works. And then you're successful.
Well, it gives you the confidence for sure. That's that aspect of it too. And then there's also just the enjoyment factor that you actually, there's been times on the hill where I've been so exhausted and in horrible shape, and you're just like, you're not enjoying yourself, and you've given that chance to actually enjoy your experience when you're out there as well, if you actually are in the proper conditioning for it.
Yeah, I did my first fly-in this past September, and I busted my ass up the hill for, God, how long was it, Kyle? Damn near a year to lose about 50 pounds just so I could be in shape. And when we got up there, I had the backpack on, and I was flying up. I was like, holy shit, this is great for my mental health. And I was keeping up with everybody. The weather sucked, didn't get anything, not what we were after. Got a couple of great big bull moose, but it made a huge difference on the mindset, because 2 years ago, even bear hunting around here, trying to hike a Forest Service road out of shape, it was just like, oh my God, this sucks. So yeah, I definitely need to get my ass kicked back into shape, because I came back in late September and went, all right, I can put on a few more pounds. And well, here we are in February, and I'm like, no, I need to get rid of those ones now. So,
well, it's 50 pounds, Steve. That's amazing. So congratulations. But, and I guess as much congratulations is that you recognize that it's time to get it fired up again.
Oh, definitely.
So,
definitely.
I mean, that's amazing. Anybody that has the mental strength to lose 50 pounds has the mental strength to do almost anything. Because that is not an easy task.
No, definitely wasn't.
And I commend you. That's amazing, Steve.
Okay, so help me out here, Greg. I'm going to pick up one of your programs. I've done a little bit of research on it, not a ton. And for anyone else that's interested, Greg's got 3 great programs, it looks like. So I was kind of looking at your gold program. Is that something that would fit for someone like me, or should I be, do you start with a silver, or do you go straight to the platinum? What's kind of, what's the best pitch for that?
Yeah, I mean, the gold is, I would say, is going to be the foundation of it all. Like if you're looking for the platinum side, is if you're looking for some specific tweaks to maybe what it is that you're looking for, where you sit down and you can talk to Denise or I. A lot of guys that are looking for the platinum, they're looking to sit down and maybe talk about some gear stuff, or talk about really specific training for them. And if they're talking gear, they're always talking to me. But if they're talking really specific training, Denise is the one for them to talk to. And really but the gold is probably the standard, because I believe, and we really have the silver out there, which is the physical just like kind of more the physical aspect of it. But it's all about the three. It's about the mental, it's about the nutrition, and it's about the physical. And anyone that has done the gold and the taken, like, it's meal programs and a meal plan and everything, they really enjoy the meals. My wife is an amazing cook, and she's put together, a meal program that really assists in dropping the body weight and, lean muscle mass along with the workouts. And I would absolutely say that that's where everybody should start. And if you want to more tailor it and ask specific questions, that's where you can get on the phone with either Denise or I, and we can work you through some of the other things. I can certainly help motivate some people and provide some tips that really work for me. And that's where, it's routines and just different things, different techniques that I use that work for me every day to keep me on point. And those have been very successful for a lot of guys that need a little bit, or would looking for a little bit of an extra edge.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think this is really timely, and I've been looking for a great program, and I think this is going to be a good fit for me. So when I get off the call here, I'm going to pick up that gold program and start hustling at it. You might be getting texts from me though and asking, what the hell do I need to do here? So
yeah, no problem. So the thing is, over the years, as I get older, obviously I love hunting. Like, my wife and I, we really enjoy seeing people not just succeed in the hunting world by virtue of the program, but just succeed in life, because that's what this is. This is a program for life. And when you take control of, Steve, as you know, man, you drop 50 pounds. When you take control of your body and you take that back, that's something that is so empowering, and that nobody can take away. And sure, it's easy, sometimes to fall off, but once you've done it, you can get back on. And I guess where I was going with this is that we find so much pleasure in helping people get in better physical shape, and as much as that, better mental shape, and just be better people. Because when I'm fit, when I'm, everything is working, I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm a better father. I'm a better husband. And that's what this is about. It's not just about hunting. Hunting is going to be a byproduct of, you're going to be successful in hunting, but you're going to be successful in every aspect of your life, because you're going to have more clarity. You put good food in, you exercise, your brain works better, you motivate yourself to get out in difficult situations, you just become a higher level human. And that's what really drives both Denise and I to continue doing what we're doing. It's absolutely not about it's not about anything else. It's about helping people be the best that they can be, and because we all need help, and we all need help. There's nobody that's above it. Like, I need help to, like, I surround myself with great people that help motivate me to be the best that I can be every day. Am I successful every day? Absolutely not. I fail all the time. But it's recognizing the failure, picking yourself up, and not beating yourself up over it. That's one thing that I don't do, is when I make a mistake, I recognize it, try obviously never do it again, but I don't beat myself up about it, and I move forward. And these are all, it's all about the people that you have around you, and you surround yourself with good people that are all moving in the right direction, and it's just inevitable that you just get better.
Yeah, right on. Well, that's sage advice for sure, Greg. And I'm going to take your advice on it and pick up a program. And yeah, really, really excited about it. So we'll have to have you back in 3 months and see how how it worked out for me.
Well, yeah, no, you'll definitely be keeping me in the loop as to how it's going, and yeah, maybe I'll make sure I keep you accountable.
Shoot, what have I done? Right on. Well, I'm going to be respectful of your time here, Greg, and we'd love to have you back again and chat more on this, and maybe touch more into the stuff for for our sheep hunters and fitness and that aspect of it. But I'm definitely picking this program up, and anyone listening, I guess what's the best way to pick up a program? How should they move forward if they're interested?
Yeah, it's just www.powerhunterfitness.com is the site. You can go on there and check it out. But additionally, what we should do is you guys are doing great things down there in BC, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing for wild sheep and conservation in general. And we need to we need to maybe give away one of the programs with your next event or whatever you guys got going on. So let's add that into the mix for you guys. I don't know whether you want to auction or whatever, however it works for you guys, but let's make sure we get some programs available for your audience.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Couple of before pictures of Kyle and then an after.
There you go.
That's great, Greg. We appreciate that. And yeah, we do have a fundraiser coming up on March 12th, so we'll take you up on that, and we'll see what works for you, and we'll put one of those on there, and then I'm going to try and keep our listeners updated on my progress. So anyone interested, get over to Greg's website, pick up any one of the three. I'm going to pick up a gold, and I'm going to start hitting it hard and getting in shape for sheep season. And if anyone wants to follow along with me, Steve and I'll kind of do weekly updates on my progress and see how it goes, and everyone can have a laugh at my expense. So
we'll get some sweaty photos out there and see how it goes.
I think you're setting up an OnlyFans, Kyle.
Yeah. I didn't say anything about pictures. Okay. No pictures, but awesome. Well, Greg, I can't thank you enough, and appreciate all you do for us in the hunting world, in the conservation world, in the health world. Just appreciate everything, and just great work. If anyone wants to see the show, what's the best way to go about it? I know you got a few platforms out there, so let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, we're on a few. So all the new stuff comes out on the Sportsman channel first, and that's always in Q3 of the year. So that's where all the new releases. But you can check us out on YouTube. Carbon TV, and we're actually moving over to Waypoint TV. So anybody that has a Samsung smart television will be able to get that, get our content on there. It'll be streaming live, and on their website as well. So but YouTube is probably a super quick way for you to jump on there. Everything is Greg McHale's Wild Yukon. And guys, I really appreciate you having me on. It's always a pleasure when I get to talk to fellow Canadians, and we get to talk sheep, and so we didn't talk that much sheep, but I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, appreciate it, and yeah, we'll get you on again, and we'll chat maybe as we get a little closer to the sheep season, and talk about your plans for the year and what you got coming up on the show and that sort of thing. It'd be really cool to catch up. So thank you again, Greg.
Thanks, guys.